All right, Swiftcoin price update. We're going to start off on the 3-day chart. We got some important things to look at here, and then we'll zoom out to the weekly, and then finally the monthly. The final day of the month, Swiftcoin update for the first time in a couple months. So if you liked the video, give us a thumbs up. Let me know that you like this. You want to see more of these videos. If you want more help navigating this cycle, looking at help to exit this cycle, keep more money, consider subscribing through Patreon, our silver tier group, and I'll do my best to help you all learn more. A lot of more educational stuff in there, and just hundreds of hours of formal education in studying charts. And I try to do my best to kind of summarize that and pass it on to you for your benefit. And let's get right to it. Swiftcoin 3-day. We're approaching a bigger decision here. And we have 2 touch points on the bottom. We have 3 touch points on the top, and you can kind of check yourself with the closing price. Put it on line chart here, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Are we going to get 3 on the bottom? Well, it's more likely than not, and let's kind of demonstrate why. Well, first and foremost, you're below our all moving averages, 1, so you're a little bit weaker there. You're now holding under as resistance the medium Bollinger Band. You can see the upper Bollinger Band up here, really pinching up here. The tightest we've seen in quite some time, actually since late last year. We're going to go back and look at that in a moment. But not only that, if you see this blue 100 EMA, which is a 300-day moving average, 100 EMA on a 3-day chart, right? Do the math. What has happened every time, at least the past 2 times, that we got near it? Well, we went, if we take a measured move here, we went about 5% under that. Last time, about 5% under that. What if we do that again this time? Another about 5% under that? Well, what that would do is start to look like a potential double bottom. Remember, double bottom wouldn't confirm until we take out this high, but look at these high peaks as well. So now we can put kind of a well-defined price top where we have the upper Bollinger Band and 2 previous peaks there. We would confirm a double bottom if we, in fact, do come down a little bit more. We'd love to hold the line here. That would be real bullish if we hold here and then start to move up, especially outside of this upper kind of downtrend line. You'd want to be aware of that, kind of like we got last move, again, which we'll go look at in a moment. But I wouldn't be surprised if we come down here over the next couple of days, maybe a week or 2, right? We're approaching an end game here, and this is very likely to make a bigger move in the next, I would say, 2 weeks, right? We give it to the end of mid-August. It could do it sooner, but I think in all likelihood we'll get either a bigger move higher, which we'd love to see. Again, this, if we get a breach of the 13 level again, right over here, right? If we start to close above this, all bets are off, and we could be looking at a kind of a rocket launch here, namely something like that. So that would get real exciting, but we'd have to see proof first, right? And that's where we start to get it. And to the downside, right, we wouldn't want to put in a lower low, right? We see a low wick here, low close and wick there. And if we start to do that, right, that also gives away the penny mark, which would also be, the psychological human level of a penny. You're going to look for those nice round numbers, and we take out that lower low. But all hope wouldn't be lost. As we zoom out to the weekly, we'll see that we could maybe see a wick lower, maybe it'd be a fake out. So those are the 2 really definitive levels to be watching for over the next couple of weeks. So 13, right, 1.3, or right at the penny mark. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some kind of a little move here. Might not be too bad. Now, if we go look at last time, we see a similar kind of vibe here, where the Bollinger Bands start to pinch, right? Lower on the 3-day, right? Look at this. And I know it's a little bit busy, but do your best to kind of look through here, right? See this top line? Well, we got 1, 2, really, we breached it on 3 there, and we started to kind of try to hold the 21 EMA as support, but we got 1, 2, right? Similar touch points, a couple touch points on either side. A lot of volatility though, right? And increased volatility as you're compressing like a spring, right? You want to be watching where your price starts to close, above a major moving average, or specifically above that median Bollinger Band. You see, once we started closing above it, we started breaking out. There's one close, came back down, held the 21, another close above it, two closes above it, took out all previous price action for months, right? That was a big sign right there, November, that something was really going to happen big time, right? And as the Bollinger Bands start to expand, we just start to explode. So we want to be watching for similar vibes, right? Especially if we start to close out above that 13 level right there. That would be a huge sign. And we might do it big like we did last time, right? We closed with authority. And if we look specifically at the Fibonacci here, right, after we made our highs, we came back down and we initially hesitated around the 2 mark, right? Then we broke it. We lost the 0.5 fib. Where did we come back to once we bounced? Well, right to that initial hesitation, the 0.5 fib, which is typically on the 0.5 fib, that's where you start to hook in and gain some traction. And we tried to do it again in May, and we, again, couldn't do it. So that's where we lost a lot of momentum, and we started kind of oscillating and coiling up again for our next bigger move. And, even though we might get some price action down, like another, right, we could go down really about 15% or less and still be okay, even with closes. We don't really want to go down too much, right? I'd rather not test our 200 EMA down here. But we'll see on the weekly that this wouldn't be so bad if it's quick, within a few days or so. Could be a fake out, right, where we see like an epic 2-bar reversal or something like that. Kind of like the inverse of that guy right there, where we see a red and then we start to flip the other way. Okay, so we'll watch for that. To the low side, again, we're good. Anything above a penny, I wouldn't even panic. And if we do breach it, it just needs to be quick. Okay, so now we've seen that, let's go look at the weekly, and then we'll get to our good stuff and the higher kind of price prediction to the highs this cycle, and potentially what we could see. And you can see the 50 EMA, the green, right, on the weekly. It's very close to that 100 EMA on the 3-day, right? And you can see here, we're still doing kind of similar vibes, kind of compressing, but not really needed anymore on these, right? What we're looking for now we're seeing, right, really one of the tightest Bollinger Bands pinches again since our last big move. Look at that, again, that pattern from back here, right? We started compressing again, and our price action started to hover kind of right around that 21 EMA. You see that, what we're doing now again, for weeks, really did that for about a month. Right now, I'd argue we're in probably like week 2 or 3 of kind of hovering around that 21 EMA as the Bollinger Bands are pinching, right? We got to our narrowest point, right? We still compressed, and then we exploded because we started to close above, and then you get a bigger move, right? We're looking for that, again, a breach of that 13 would take out this high. Previous kind of range lows, new range highs, right? You see that? Range low close, range low wicks, broken, range high wicks, resistance, support, turned resistance. Okay, we're trying to find our footing here. Again, we'd love to hold right around here. The 50 week would be a great spot. If we go down a little lower, it's right at the penny. It's like right on it, right? We'd want to definitely be watching out for a big sign of weakness, right? You don't want to have blinders on. You want to look at bulls and bears side. The bears start to win big time if we put in a lower close here. So if a close, we're not worried about a wick. A wick could go lower, right? Look at this wick. Who cares, right? We ended up going way the hell higher. A wick could go down a little bit lower, even breach that, right? That would be that kind of, we could spend a few days down here. It would end up being a wick. If we close a weekly candle down here, that's where the trouble could potentially start and would likely lose a lot of big momentum. Okay, so we'd want to watch for that big warning. However, I don't think that's the odds. I think we're actually getting ready to move big time to the upside, and the timing is nearly impossible. But based on the structure and what it's done in the past, namely holy hell, right? That is a huge move. And some coins maybe we can't do that again. Like, why would we expect another big move? It's already done a big move. Well, you got to look at the market cap. If you look at Swiftcoin's market cap, it's just over $100 million. It could 10x to and get to $1 billion. So speaking of that, where's our 1618? It's at 14 cents. That might seem impossible, but again, keep in mind in the market cap from current prices, that's a 13x away, 1,200%, 13x. That gets us to like $1.5 billion roughly. Okay, if that sounds still impossible to you, keep in mind, last cycle, XRP added 40 billion with a B in a month. Dogecoin got to a high market cap of $90 billion. Shiba Inu, market cap of $40 billion. You're telling me we can't get $1 billion or 1.5 billion market cap by the time all is said and done, especially if we get an alt season in the next couple of months? Something with $100 million market cap could 2x overnight and not even know what it did, right? So speaking of that, like what would a 2x look like? Well, that gets us to not even to range highs again. We're only looking at a few $100 million addition to get back to range highs, right? Right. That's easy to do when you have a lower market cap. If we're looking at $100 billion market cap, it's difficult, but not impossible. Like we just said, XRP, one of the top 10 coins. Great looking chart, by the way. XRP, we'll cover that maybe this weekend. Looking at XRP, if anybody's interested in that. But if XRP, something with a high market cap, or even meme coins can do it, why would you think that's impossible? So this is still absolutely in the cards that we could hit this for highs, right? And we've talked about that in previous videos. It's not that obscene, right, to think that you couldn't, add $1 billion. It's been done by many coins, right? Just give you a couple examples there. But to think we were not going to go see all-time highs again, or new highs, or at least visit range highs is, pretty insane not to think that, especially with this setup looking, pretty tasty right now, even though it looks a little down in the mud for the next maybe few days, few weeks, right? Who cares, right? I think the end game here could easily see, 500 million, right? That gets us back up in this area. $1 billion market cap, right? That takes us, up to the 10-cent area, and we could, that's still definitely on the cards, at least for now. Now, obviously, if we put in a new low and we start to go this way, right, this starts to fade. Maybe we go test highs again, but still, like worst case scenario, I would imagine we kind of double top somewhere in this area. Even if we do kind of kick the dust over the next couple of weeks to months and we go down and, doom and gloom. That's why we have this zone here. Right, if it gets real bad, so to speak, or Bitcoin sneezes and goes back to 110 or something really quick, yeah, there's a case that Swiftcoin could come down here, but this would be the worst case scenario, I think, for Swift. And then we just want to kind of load up there, because then I was shit. If we go down here, look at our move. We're still looking at a 5x to get back to range highs, and I think it would definitely do that. So just like even if we go down here, right, not all hope is lost. That could be like your really good buying opportunity, right? Swing highs back from March of 2024, swing highs again, June, swing lows, right? Breakout, throwback retest. This was all on the cards here. So we might be looking at a full reset, but if not, I mean, we'd be exciting things to coming, right? And then we know as Swift goes, it likes to go. And especially with the low market cap, things could do this. We could rinse and repeat this. And we could absolutely break through 10 cents this cycle. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you want more help, more requests, again, more education, consider checking out our silver group. Got a lot of people in there. They love it and have been around for a long time. So I think it'd be a benefit to you. You can check it out for a month. If you don't like it, not for you, drop off. No big deal. All right, quote of the day. Then we'll get to our car of the day. We got maybe a couple cars of the day. You'll see what I mean in a minute. If you're interested in that, you can hang around. Quote is loading. All right, forgiveness is the key to action and freedom. Agreed. All right, car of the day. How about an Audi R8? We got a couple different versions. All right, this is R8 Talk. They have a whole section. They got a bunch of them on here. So let's go through a couple. So let's actually start a little bit higher. And the first gen Audi. And I love how they say like how many units they made of each of these. This is pretty cool. So there's the first one with the kind of the rounded bottom headlights. I kind of like them, but I like the new ones even better. You can see already it's starting to change and adapt from 2012 to 2015. 60 units of that one. R8 Carbon Spider, 16 units. We're starting to get into a little bit rare territory. We only make 16 of them. R8 LM, 8 units, Canada market only. It's pretty cool. R8 e-tron, so this is going to be part electric. Might be all electric. I wouldn't even know where they made this, honestly. That's pretty cool. Japanese market only, 1 of 1. Star of Lucius. Who's got that? Look at those wheels. Pretty wild. R8 V10 Newburgh edition, 10 units, Australia market only. Pretty wild. 24 units of the 24, that makes sense. That checks out. That looks pretty cool. Aggressive. Like you can see the lighting's major updates from 2012 to 2017, right? Wheels look pretty good. That one looks great. V10 Plus exclusive edition, 25 units. I like the accents there. RWS, 1,000 units. That's probably a little cheaper. 44 units. The performance looks great. I don't know what's my favorite. Whoa, that looks really good. I think the 2019 really did a good job updating on the facelift there. Like the wheels, bronze wheels. That looks pretty great. Oh God, this looks like some rapper got a hold of it. You ever notice like rappers get nice cars and they put stupid ass wheels on them? That looks like it. That looks more like a Skyline GTR spec to me. Red one. Japan Final Edition. Okay, 2023. I'm guessing they're halting production on these. I haven't really heard much. I don't follow Audi that much. But I do like the R8s. All right, I think we're about getting into the comments now. All right, I'll wrap it up there. That's pretty cool. Stumbled across that. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Have a great rest of July or good start to your August, depending on when you're watching this. And we'll see you there. If you watch this long, you want to get in our chat, get a hold of me. Maybe I can give you some kind of promotion discount or something. All right.